Good morning. Good afternoon, बैठ जाइए. Okay. So what we have covered in the last section. Yes, we were discussing about blood circulatory system. Okay. So we have seen this one part, that what is blood, what is the function of blood, what are the different type of blood cells. We have discussed this one part. We have also talked about plasma. Okay. That plasma is made of 90 to 92% of water, and in remaining portion we have got some antibodies plus proteins plus remaining items. So this is one part which we have discussed in the last session. We have also seen about the blood group. Okay. We have seen that commonly, if you are looking at it, we have the 8 different type of blood groups. In that 8 blood group, we have seen there are 3 major proteins which are responsible for all these blood group formation. Then we have also seen that who can give blood to whom, like in the blood groups also how it can be transferred. We have seen the basic rule of transferring the blood from one person to another person. Okay. This is one part which we have seen. Now the next thing which we have to discuss is about blood vessels and heart. We are going to discuss about these two things, that what is blood vessel, what is the role of heart. Then at the same time we are also going to talk about circulatory system, digestive system, lymphatic system and nervous system. Okay. Then we will discuss about the endocrine and exocrine system also. But before we go into that, let us see some questions. Okay. So here we have this one thing, we have discussed about this microbes and all. So on basis of this is the question. Some microorganisms can grow in environment with temperature above the boiling point of water. Some microorganisms can grow in environment with temperature below the freezing point of water. Some can grow in highly acidic environment with a pH below 3. The option. Okay. So if we look into this, some microorganisms we have seen, basically it is all about the bacteria and some microbes. Okay. That they can grow in temperature above the boiling point of water also. They can grow below the freezing point of water also, and they can also survive in acidic environment with pH below 3. Answer is all 3. Which one of the following statement best describe the role of B cells and T cells in human body? They protect the body from environmental allergens. They alleviate the body's pain and inflammation. They act as immunosuppressants in the body. They protect the body from diseases caused by pathogens. D option or C option? C option, C or B? So what will be answer in this question? See, immunosuppressant means those who are reducing the role of immune system or those who are compromising the immune system. So B cells and T cells are promoters of immunity, not suppressants of immunity. So they will not suppress it, rather than that they will promote or strengthen the immune system. So this cannot be the answer. The answer will be this one. They protect the body from diseases caused by pathogens. So D is the correct answer here. Then we have this third question. Which of the above can be cultured in artificial or synthetic medium? Culture means we can grow them. Okay. And artificial or synthetic medium means in lab, in petri dish. So which of them can be cultured in artificial or synthetic medium? The option. Okay, we can grow bacteria, that is correct. We can grow fungi also, that is also correct, but we cannot grow virus in artificial medium. We cannot grow, we cannot culture virus in artificial medium. Virus can be cultured or virus can grow in a natural medium only. Virus can grow inside the cell. Virus can grow inside the cell, not outside the cell. So in artificial or synthetic medium, we cannot culture the viruses. This is one such thing on which UPSC has asked question 2 to 3 times in last 10 years. Same line, that viruses can be cultured or not. So remember this one part, we can grow virus only within a natural environment, only within a cell, not in an artificial or synthetic medium. So answer will be bacteria and fungi. For bacteria and fungi, you have to provide just the source, like the raw material. Like suppose you have to help the fungi to grow, you have to just provide some rotten food items, they will grow over that. If you have to promote bacteria also, they can grow over it. But viruses need the presence of a cell in order to grow. They cannot simply grow in artificial medium. So here the answer is option number A. Consider the following statement, adenovirus have single strand DNA genome, whereas retrovirus have double stranded DNA genomes. Common cold is caused by an adenovirus, whereas AIDS is caused by retrovirus. Then how corona came out? Achha, which official website or which authentic source is saying that China has created corona? Any authentic website, any government officially, are they saying that China has made coronavirus? So apart from certain news channels, no one has said this officially that corona came out of China or China has created this. It has just spread from China, that is something which we know, that is official, that it has started from Wuhan and then it has spread to all the part. But there is no official document which says that China has created coronavirus or other thing. And if we go by newspaper, then on 8th of May, Islamabad was part of India. If you go by the news channels or others, then we would have already like Karachi plus Islamabad and other areas, they were already occupied. So there is no official document suggesting this, that China has created coronavirus. Only some news channels have said it. That is the difference. So here if you look at this, adenovirus have single strand DNA, whereas retrovirus have double strand DNA genomes. Retrovirus is DNA based or RNA based? RNA based. So this one statement will be incorrect. Common cold is caused by adenovirus, whereas AIDS is caused by retrovirus. So we have seen it also, like common cold, conjunctivitis, etc. They are caused by adenovirus, whereas HIV is one such retrovirus which is causing the AIDS. So second option is correct. The answer is B. Which of the following statements are correct? Viruses can infect bacteria, fungi or plants. Viruses can infect bacteria, fungi or plants. How many of them can be infected? All. Just remember one thing. If we are talking about virus, we have seen multiple type of virus. Some are impacting plants also, some are impacting animals also. Viruses can infect each and every living organism on earth. Not a single living organism is immune from virus. So every cell can be infected. So that's why whether it is bacteria or fungi or even plants or animals, every one of them is going to be infected by the viruses. So it's like it was very simple, but what they have done, they have provided this one option, bacteria. Okay. In bacteria, you will have this confusion that whether it can be like infected by virus or not. Bacteria and viruses, they are the first like those organisms or those creatures which have been fighting with each other. We will see it later also when we are talking about biotechnology, phage therapy and gene editing. So then we will see this part. But remember one thing, bacteria and viruses, they are like always fighting with each other throughout the journey of evolution. So due to them also, we have two technologies. One is phage therapy and one is this gene editing. The entire gene editing is based on this interaction between bacteria and virus. And a new treatment, phage therapy, is also based on this interaction of bacteria and virus. So they can infect bacteria also, fungi also, plants also. So answer here is D option, that is 1, 2 and 3. One last question. Which of the following statement is are correct? Viruses lack enzymes necessary for the generation of energy. Viruses can be cultured in any synthetic media. Viruses are transmitted from one organism to another by biological vectors only. A option. Only one. Third statement is wrong. So see, you know about the second one now, that viruses can be cultured, viruses cannot be cultured in a synthetic medium. So this second option is incorrect. Viruses lack enzymes necessary for generation of energy. You know that they don't have the cell structure itself. Forget about the enzymes. They don't even have a cell structure. So this first statement is correct. Third is saying viruses are transmitted from one organism to another by biological vectors only. So that will be incorrect. You know that viruses can be transmitted via air also or simply water also. So that is also a source of transmission. So here this third option is also incorrect. Answer will be 1 only. So I think after solving these questions, you may have some more clarity with respect to viruses. Now see, when we are talking about this human body, in human body we have discussed about blood, and next thing which we have to see from here is blood vessel. There is one thing called as blood vessels. Blood vessels are basically those tubular structures. They are the tubular structures through which the blood is passing in our body. They are fluid, so they need a tube which can take them to all the different parts. So for that we have the vessels. Like suppose that we have one thing called as human heart and we have another thing called as cell. So between this heart and cell, there is presence of blood vessels. First of all, it is forming one structure called as artery. So from here, the oxygenated blood is going towards the cell. This artery breaks down into simpler parts . These are basically called as capillaries. They are very fine structure called as capillaries. So oxygen is going through these capillaries to the cell. Between the capillaries and the cell, there is going to be the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. After this, these capillaries will form another structure together which will bring the blood back to the heart, called as veins. So here we are having capillaries. Capillaries are the narrowest tube. They are the very fine, very narrow tubes which are connected with individual cells. So it is just like this. Suppose we have a cell over here. all the cells are going to be connected to these capillaries. The cells are going to be connected with these capillaries, and these capillaries are helping or facilitating the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Oxygen from the blood will enter into the cell, and from the cell they will collect the carbon dioxide. Then this remaining carbon dioxide, they will combine together to form this vein structure, and the veins will be reaching to the heart. So there are three different types of blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. Only three things. Okay. Here the main role, like if you see exchange, that is the role of capillaries. Now a basic thing, tell me one part. Heart is pumping the blood through the artery, then it is coming to all the different cells. So which one will be the more like strong, which will be the strongest, artery, vein or capillary? Artery will be the strongest one. Why the strongest? Because heart is pumping blood. If it is not strong, then it will rupture, it will break. On the other side, capillaries, they are the thinnest one, most like flexible one, very weak structure. Why they are weak structure? They have to facilitate the exchange, not only of oxygen, but of also other materials like sugar, fat, proteins. All these things are to be exchanged or sent to the cells. So that's why capillaries are very fine structures. And veins, again, they are collecting significant amount of blood. So they are like stronger than veins, but weaker than stronger than capillaries, but weaker than arteries. If we talk about the strength, of them, so artery, then veins, and then it will be capillaries. Even if we talk about the dimensions, it will be same. Artery will be the wide one, capillaries will be the narrowest one, and in middle of that we have the veins. You don't have to write this for exam. UPSC is not so much kind to you that they will be asking what is artery, veins and capillaries. They are tubes. They are simply tubes which are facilitating this. Now there is one thing, heart. So what is the role of heart? What is the role of heart in our body? Pumping of blood only, nothing else. Purification of blood is not the work of heart. Heart is doing just one thing. Heart is pumping the blood. Like you have seen, you are living in different areas, but you may have seen that municipality is providing water. There is a pump which is collecting that water and sending it to the tank. So in that same manner, heart is like a electric pump which is just pumping the blood continuously. It is just pumping the blood continuously. Why it is important? It is important because that blood has to constantly flow. If the blood is not flowing, it will cause the problem. So heart is important just because of this part, that it has to maintain the flow of blood. Otherwise, there is no such role of heart in the body. If you have got an alternative which can pump the blood, you can replace the heart with it. Okay. So in future, you may say this, that we can have some artificial pumps also in place of heart. But there is so much complexity that it has to be controlled by the brain. The brain is controlling the movement of heart, how much they are beating, how much they are changing. All these things are controlled by brain, so it cannot be replaced by electric pump as of now. And in future, if we make AI type of like innovation, so then heart can be replaced by other things also. That is in future. But as of now, heart is still required just for pumping the blood. And the size of heart is very small. Okay. It is just a small part, like 5-6 centimeters only, even smaller than that. So heart is a very small organ. Normally it is shown that heart is quite big, but in fact if you see it, it will appear like very small piece. It will it is appearing like a very small muscles which are present there. Okay. So that is heart. Okay. A simple role, pumping the blood. Apart from this, no other role. Any one of you who have drawn the diagram of heart in class 9th or 10th? Good for you. You don't require it here. Okay. So you don't have to make the diagram of heart as such. You can make it in the same manner as you are making normal heart in your copy or emojis. Okay. In same manner you can make it. Like heart looks similar. It's not that heart is not looking similar, it looks similar. If you see the internal structure, it will look similar. Just you have to break it 3-4 times. Like you have to just change it 3 or 4 times, it will look similar. Okay. Like just to give you an example, if you make the diagram of heart, it will be like this. I will delete it. It actually looks like this only, just you have to break it in the middle. That now if you break it, it will be like this, that a valve will be opening here. A valve will be opening on these sides. Here the arteries and veins will open up. In this also you will find some breaks. Okay. So heart you can make in similar form as you make in emojis. Okay. But you don't have to make it for the exam. Okay. So don't worry about it. Now, what is the utility of the heart in terms like how it is helping and how it is pumping the blood? That is one thing which we have to see. But we will see it in form of flow charts. Like suppose that we are making it in a square shape as per our convenience. So heart has 4 chambers. Which are they? So which one is left? This one is the left atrium and left ventricle. The one is right atrium and right ventricle. Is it like that? Which one will be right? Which one will be left? See, when you are seeing the image, it has to be in this manner. Like suppose I am standing in this side. Okay. So one on my right side, not when I turn. One on my right side is the right atrium and right ventricle. One on the left, means in this side, is going to be the left ventricle and left atrium. So when you are making the diagram of heart, although you don't need to, but whenever you are seeing it also, you have to see it not from your side that okay, it is on the left, so I will consider it left. No, see the image in this manner, that image is in front of you, it is the left side, it is the right side of the image. So here we have the right atrium and here we have the left atrium, right ventricle and left ventricle. So see, suppose this is the cells of the body. So from cells, first of all, a vein will be carrying this deoxygenated or carbon rich blood to the right atrium. So here this is the first step. CO2 is going here in the right atrium. From the right atrium, this CO2 is going to enter into the right ventricle. So first the blood is getting collected here. Then it will go into the right ventricle. Right ventricle is going to start its first pumping. It will pump the blood out. From here, the blood will go into another organ, which is our lungs. It is going to reach into lungs. It is going to be carbon dioxide rich blood. From here, the carbon dioxide, from this part, what we will see that CO2 is going to be released out and oxygen is going to enter. There is going to be entry of oxygen. After this, there will be one such vein will be carrying the oxygen to the left atrium. From the left atrium, it is going to enter into the left ventricle, and then after left ventricle is going to pump it out of the body, it is going to go into the different part of the body. So here we will see oxygen is going out. Oxygen is going out. This is the entire process of the heart. This is one complete heart cycle, or one complete cycle of the heart. First, the blood enters into right atrium. Now see, there is collection of blood. So collection of blood can be done by the thin vessels also. Like here we have a vein which is called as vena cava. It is a vein. Now tell me, here the blood is being pumped out. So will it be a vein or will it be an artery? Artery. So this is one such exception. It is called as pulmonary artery. This is one such artery. One artery which carries CO2 rich blood. Normally what we see that, normally most of the arteries of our body, they are carrying oxygen rich blood. Most of the arteries which are there, they are going to have this oxygen rich blood. But this is one such exception where we are having the pulmonary artery carrying the carbon dioxide rich blood. This is the exception. Okay. Why there is an artery? Because heart is pumping the blood. Now see, here the blood is incoming without any force. So will we use artery or vein? In this case, the one unit, will it be artery or will it be vein? It is going to be a vein, just because there is no force. Lungs are not applying force here. Lungs will not be applying the force on it. So here what we will see that this is one exception, pulmonary vein. Carries oxygen rich blood. So this is such one example which is carrying the oxygen rich blood. And here, will it be artery or vein? It is going to be the main artery, aorta. Okay. The main artery which is there of our body. The main means there is one main vein called as vena cava. Okay. So here we have the vein, here we have the artery. And here also we see that there is one pulmonary artery, and on this side we have the pulmonary vein. This represents, this entire is one complete cycle. One complete cycle of heart. So this is one complete cycle of heart. Now, you may have heard about multiple such heart problems. Like sometimes people are having heart attacks or any such problem. So there are multiple reasons behind it. There are multiple reasons. One of the reason is that suppose there in case of right atrium and right ventricle, I have just shown you this one thing, that there are valves. Like these things, these openings are called as valves. If valves are not working, then also there can be an issue of this heart problem. So that is one reason. If the valves are not like here also you will find that multiple valves are there. So if valves are not working properly, then there can be a problem of heart attack. Okay. Second thing is, if the arteries or veins, suppose there is any person who is consuming a lot of fatty items or eating a lot of food. So in that case, the fat is also going to be deposited on the blood vessels. The fat can be deposited on the blood vessels also. The size of blood vessels may also increase. So in that case, will there be a congestion in the flow of blood? There can be congestion. There is another part, the blood which is there, it also contains sugar. If we are taking excessive sugar or fat, will the blood become thicker? So blood can also become thicker. So when blood becomes thick, or arteries or veins become narrow, or when the valves are not working properly, or one another case in this, like in any case of 60 or 70 plus people, in that case what we also see that the cells of the heart, they also become weak. They are muscles only. So when you are of 20, 25 years of age, 30 years of age, you can lift 20 kg, 30 kg, 50 kg easily. But can you expect the same thing to be done when you are 70 years of age? Can you do the same thing? Yeah. When you will reach there, then you will get the answer to it. Yeah. So 40 years later, you can tell me that are you able to lift 70 or 80 kg or not? Yeah. So that is something which you will experience later. So strength of the body will start to decrease after a certain period of time. So this change in the same manner, the cells which are there inside the heart, they will also become weak after a certain period of time. So their capacity to pump the blood is also going to decrease. So these are also some factors which causes heart issues. In India, we have the major problem of cardiac issues and diabetes. So diabetes is the one which is increasing the sugar level in the blood, and when sugar level is high, it can also cause cardiac problem. Sometimes what we see that there is something called as cardiac arrest. So that is an entirely different thing. Cardiac arrest can happen even in young people. So that is quite random thing, like all of a sudden, due to any reason, heart has not received the signal from the brain to pump, and in that moment the pumping of the heart or the working of heart has all of a sudden stopped. So that is one such challenge. Sometimes nerves may get blocked, or due to any reason heart suddenly stops working. So that is one issue called as cardiac arrest. That is also a challenge, especially in the present times. The number of cardiac arrest has been increasing among the young people. That is also a cause of concern. Why it is there? It is not so much clear. Many research are going on that due to the change in environment, due to more stress, or due to any factor, it is changing. Cardiac arrest is something which can happen at any time. You may have seen that certain people are performing on a stage, and all of a sudden, or giving some doing some workout also, and all of a sudden there is a cardiac arrest and the person falls. So that is also one of the challenge. So this is one thing with respect to heart. We are not looking at the diseases right now. When we will come to health section, then we will see it. But just to give you an idea, these are the problems related with heart. You have noted it down? Now, once we have seen this, like in circulatory system, major part which we have to see is blood, because blood has cells, blood has all the different types and everything. The questions will be from there. If you will not be getting that which is pumping oxygenated blood, which is pumping deoxygenated blood. These are the simple things. Now, a next part which we have to see here is respiratory system. In the case of respiratory system, yes, you can say that the tubes which are getting the pressure, they are mostly arteries, and which are not feeling the pressure, they are collecting the blood, they are veins. It doesn't mean that they have no pressure, they still have some pressure, but not too much. Otherwise, you will see also one thing, our body is designed in such a manner that the arteries are often inside the body, not on the upper part. The upper things which you see, sometimes your veins are visible, capillaries are always there. If you cut any single part, if a blood is coming from there, it is about the capillaries. Don't experiment this at home. Don't have to check it. There are capillaries. Okay, so you don't have to just prove it. Like, so no need of experiment. Upper portion is the most of the cells which you are getting blood into, they are getting from the capillaries. Sometimes you will find some blue color structures and all. Okay, so they are your veins through which the blood is passing. The blood is getting collected and going through this. The artery is in the inner part for the safety of humans, because if you are getting a cut and all of a sudden if artery is there, then massive bleeding will be there, and massive bleeding can lead to death of the person. So you know that the blood is the main part. Generally heart is given so much of importance. Generally heart is given so much of importance that heart is very complex, heart is very important part. But if you look into this, actually the main thing which is required in body is blood. The blood is the main part which is required. Heart is there just to ensure that there is a proper circulation of blood. Heart itself has no role. Like, heart is not keeping us alive. Heart is keeping the blood in circulation, which is keeping us alive. That is the role of heart. But heart gets all the focus. Blood is like just feeling like the helping hand. Okay. So blood is not given enough credit. Like, normally people don't give that much credit to the blood, but blood is the most important part. All the other things which are there, like heart, tubes and everything, they are just for the blood only. If blood is not there, what will heart pump? Water. Okay. So there is no such role of heart after the blood. Now, in respiratory system also we will see the work of the heart. Okay. See, what is respiration? What is respiration? Inhaling and exhaling is breathing. There is one thing called as breathing, and there is one thing called as respiration. So respiration is a chemical process. Respiration is the process in which the body is intaking oxygen, using it to break down the food in form of energy, and exhaling carbon dioxide. So respiration is not just breathing. Breathing is one component of it. So what we see that when we talk about respiration, this is a process. This is basically a process. Write down this, respiration. It is a process. As you are sending emojis of inhaling and exhaling. Exam में भी ऐसे ही लिखना. Like, if they are asking something in mains, so in order to enhance your representation, you can make a emojis. The people are feeling sad, so instead of writing sad, you can make a emoji of sad. Or if you have to write disappointment among people, so you may be having a different emoji of disappointment. So you can like draw that also. So in this, write down a process in which body uses oxygen, instead of body write cell. A process in which cell uses oxygen to break down food and generate energy, as well as carbon dioxide to generate energy as well as carbon dioxide. So this is one thing. It is a process in which body intakes oxygen to generate energy as well as carbon dioxide. So this is one part, like what is the process of respiration. Remember this one part, respiration is not breathing in or breathing out. It is one part of it. Now see how it goes on in our body. When we are talking about respiration, if you look at the entire process, it starts from nose. We are taking oxygen. This oxygen is going through one structure which is called as which part of body? After this nose, where will the air go? And means it is going through the nostrils, it is going to the nose. After that, trachea. There is one common part, pharynx. Okay. There is one common part which is called as pharynx. So pharynx is the common part where you have both food as well as air. After pharynx, you have the next part which is trachea. Okay. So pharynx is the common part. Like suppose if you want, you can take oxygen via mouth also, or if you want, you can eat something via nose also. They are eventually going to go into the same part. Okay. So it doesn't matter whether you are eating through nose or through mouth. Okay. It will go in the same area. They are connected. Okay. Eating through nose will be a challenging part, but you can do it. Okay. Think about eating some rotis from or tandoori roti via nose. Okay. So here we see that. Let me explain it to you on this image. Actually thinking about this. See, what you will find that, just look at this one image. Here you have the nasal cavity or the nose through which the oxygen is entering into the body. Okay. After this, it passes through the common area which is the pharynx. Okay. Now, after pharynx, it is going to go into the windpipe which is called as the trachea. Trachea is the windpipe. Now, between pharynx and trachea, there is a small portion called as larynx. Larynx is basically the voice box of the body. So, when you are speaking something, it is because of vibration caused in the larynx by the movement of air. So, you are speaking something with the help of air only. Without air, you cannot speak. So, you are releasing air from your body, that is causing the vibration in the larynx, and that is generating different type of sounds. So, you also have a very efficient sound system inside yourself. Okay. You can generate different type of voices as per your capability. Some can generate different sounds. Okay. Some can generate only one or two different type of sound. It is all because of how you are controlling your mind and how you are training your larynx. Okay. So, this is one part. Just this common portion is the pharynx, and below that we have the larynx. That is in the trachea and pharynx part. Between trachea and pharynx, we have the larynx. Larynx is the voice box or the sound box of our body. After this, it goes into the trachea or the windpipe. Okay. The windpipe separates into or divides into two different parts called as the bronchus. Okay. It separates into or it divides into two different parts called as bronchus. Bronchus divides into a small tubes which is called as bronchial tube. The bronchial tube divides into further smaller parts, finally into small balloon like structures called as alveoli. Okay. So, if you look into this, when we are drawing the part of this nasal system, it will be like this. First, we have got the nose. After the nose, it is going to go into pharynx. From pharynx, it is going into trachea. Okay. Between this, we have one structure called as larynx. Larynx is in fact considered as the upper portion of trachea. Okay. Here also, at the entry gate of trachea, you have a small valve which is closing the entry of food into trachea. It is called as epiglottis. Okay. So here you have a door, a muscle door. Okay. It is separating it is separating the food pipe and the wind pipe from here. Pharynx is the common ground. Pharynx is the part where food and air both can come. Food, air, water, everything can come. But there is one such a structure called as epiglottis. Okay. So it is like a muscular gate which is closing the entry of food into the trachea. Sometimes when you are eating also and breathing also, it may happen that when you are eating very fastly, some of the food items may enter trachea, and then you have like instant sneezing. So that instant sneezing is just to make sure that food doesn't reach your lungs. Otherwise, you will have to get hospitalized. Okay. So that is the risk. Okay. That if it goes into this lungs part, then there is no option, you have to get into hospital. Okay. Because it is very dangerous then it will block the movement of air. It is about the bronchial tubes. Bronchial tubes are very fine structures. So even one single grain of rice can block it. So that's why it is quite dangerous. So whenever you are having any such food entering into the trachea, there is an immediate sneezing, and you will find that the food is also coming out of nose. Okay. So they are like throwing it in all the direction from wherever it can come. So when you are having a sneezing, don't try to control it. Okay. Suppose you are there out in a public place and you are suddenly about to have sneezing while eating. Don't try to control this and don't think that what will people say. Okay. If you don't do it, the same people will take you to the hospital. Okay. So this is one thing. Here we have the epiglottis also. So this is preventing the entry of food into the trachea. Okay. Then after, this trachea is going into bronchi. Bronchi is the plural of bronchus. Basically, there are two bronchus, so it is called as bronchi. Okay. This is further breaking into bronchial tube. Bronchial tube, and this one is going to finally end up in a structure called as alveoli. Now, just to show you what is alveoli looking like. Okay. Alveoli looks like this, small balloons which are here, small balloon like a structure. They are the alveoli, and this alveoli is having the blood capillary around it. Okay. So every such alveoli is surrounded by blood capillary. Okay. Think about this, that what will be the size of blood capillaries, how much fine tubes are there. That alveoli is very small, and alveoli is surrounded by a blood vessel, blood capillary. So from there you can imagine that how much fine particles are there in our body. If you look at human body, it is such a complex structure. It looks one simple, two hands, two legs, one head. Okay. But inside the body, if you look at it, the arrangement of the cell, it is very complex. It is much more complex than the supercomputers. Okay. Supercomputers, if you see their motherboard, you will find that there are so many complex things. Try to see the lungs of human body. You will find more complexities there. I am not talking about other organs. Just one simple lungs is more complicated than the supercomputers of world. That much fine arrangement is there inside the body, that each and every of alveoli, they are connected with these blood capillaries. So this is one part. The alveoli which are here, they are connected with blood capillaries. They are connected with these blood capillaries. And just connected, blood capillaries are going to form what? They are going to form veins. Veins will go to where? Heart. And heart will do what? Again pump it back. Okay. So from here you can connect with the circulatory system. That this is connected to all the cells and back. Artery, cells. Now see this one arrangement. Here we see that oxygen is going inside. Here also oxygen is going, oxygen is going, oxygen is going, oxygen, okay. Oxygen. Here we have the pulmonary vein, oxygen into heart, and oxygen reaches to the cell. Now, after the process of respiration here you will have the process of respiration. At this part, you will have the process of respiration. So, respiration actually occurs there in the cell. Respiration is not only this part, respiration is actually going to take place in the cells. This is the root of respiration. This is the root of respiration. It is going to the cells. And respiration is what? Use of oxygen to break down the food and generate energy. So, here we will see that there will be creation of energy, and plus there will be creation of the next important thing, CO2, carbon dioxide. So, now that carbon dioxide is going to return back, okay. But this time it will be returning back via veins. From veins it will go to the heart. From here there will be a artery which will be connecting it. Sorry. From here a artery will be connecting it. The pulmonary artery. So, we see that now the carbon dioxide is going to return back. Here the carbon dioxide will return back via the veins, it will reach the heart, via the pulmonary artery it will go into the alveoli, okay. And from here it will go back into CO2, same route, CO2, same route, CO2, and CO2 will be out of the body. Okay. So, we are following the same route in the reverse direction, and after the respiration the carbon dioxide is going to go back. So, this is the process of respiration. We will see the food pipe. Food pipe is called as esophagus. The name of the windpipe is trachea. It is called as the windpipe, and the name of this food pipe is esophagus. Now, just look at this process once again. We will write something about epiglottis and trachea also. We will write down that also. Here I am just telling you the process. Now, there is one thing. Here you see that oxygen is going inside and carbon dioxide is like exhaled out from the body. Can you tell me, the air which we are breathing out, will it have more oxygen or more carbon dioxide? More oxygen. The air which we are breathing out, will it have more oxygen or more carbon dioxide? The air which we are breathing out has 16% oxygen. Okay. The air which we are breathing out is having 16% oxygen and roughly 4% carbon dioxide. So, the things which you imagine that when we are breathing out only carbon dioxide will be coming out, it is not so. When we are breathing out 16% of it is oxygen, 4% of it is carbon dioxide. But Why do we say that carbon dioxide is released during the exhalation? We have to understand one part. When we are breathing in, here also there is entry of carbon dioxide. When we are breathing also, like suppose you are reading in this class or you are at your home also or anywhere, you will have 0.04 carbon which is going to enter into your body. 0.04% that is carbon. When you take the air, around 78 to 79% nitrogen, then you have this oxygen 20-21%, and then in that remaining 1% we have 0.04% carbon. But when we are exhaling out, here what we will see that there will be release of oxygen also, which will be 16%, and carbon dioxide, it is going to be 4%. You can see 100 times increase. If you look into it, it is 100 times increase. So that's why we say that carbon dioxide is exhaled out, and the oxygen which goes inside our body, it's not that we are able to consume all the oxygen. We are not able to, like suppose you are inhaling at least, or you are breathing at least 60 times. Even if you are breathing slowly, then also you are breathing at least 60 times in 1 minute. Okay. Normally 72 times. So when you are breathing 60 times, do you think that all the oxygen which you are taking is going inside the body? The answer is no. What we see that some portion of it goes to the cell, the remaining portion comes out. While it is coming out, what we see that some amount of carbon dioxide is also there. So even the air which is coming out, that also has oxygen. It is not entirely carbon dioxide, it is oxygen plus carbon dioxide. Oxygen is still on the higher side. Like oxygen is minimum like 4 times higher than carbon dioxide. So the air which you are breathing out, you can also inhale that air back. You will get little bit less oxygen, but you can inhale it back. That is one thing. Oxygen is always there. Now one more part. Just change one thing here. Just change one thing here. If we are adding another component, carbon monoxide, that along with oxygen and everything, we are also taking one more thing, that is carbon monoxide. Then what? Just tell me one thing. If there is increase in carbon dioxide in atmosphere, like suppose we are using fossil fuels, so there is increase in carbon dioxide emission in the atmosphere. Now if you are standing out on the road and you are getting more and more carbon dioxide, so what health diseases can be there due to it? What health problem? If you are like standing on the road, and I am saying that only carbon dioxide, nothing else. If you are getting only carbon dioxide in the air, like oxygen plus carbon dioxide, you are getting both of it. Higher concentration of carbon dioxide. Let us say it is 0.06%, 0.07%. Not 50%, 0.07%, 0.08%. In that scenario, what is going to be the impact on the lungs? Like what will be a person is standing daily 8 hours, 10 hours for 1 month and continued exposure to carbon dioxide. So what will be the impact? Any disease? Can like throw out the names of any disease. So many diseases are there. Dengue, chikungunya. Okay. Remember one thing, carbon dioxide is not going to cause any asthma, any bronchitis, any cancer, any problem. Carbon dioxide is not the problem. Why? See here, carbon dioxide is already present inside the body. Like if we are talking about the outside carbon dioxide, it will be, let's say, 0.06. if there is a 50% increase in carbon dioxide, then it will reach 0.06. The air which we are exhaling out is already having like 100 times more than that, and still there is no impact on the body. So the problem is not due to carbon dioxide, the problem is due to methane, the problem is due to nitrous oxides, the problem may be there because of sulfur oxides, but not carbon dioxide. So when we are even monitoring the air quality, even when we are monitoring the air quality, we are not counting carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is not a direct health threat. Carbon dioxide can cause global warming. So that is the main concern of this carbon dioxide. If you are having continuous exposure to carbon dioxide, the one thing which may happen is irritation or somewhat headache, but nothing more than that. Because carbon dioxide is going to change the fluctuations in lungs and intake of hemoglobin, but a small somewhat headache, and that too in rare case. So here carbon dioxide will not cause problem. Problem will be from methane, problem will be from carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide or other things. Okay. Yes. So this is one thing. Carbon dioxide is a global greenhouse gas. It is causing global warming, but no direct threat to the health. Now see one thing. What if carbon monoxide is coming? And how we will get carbon monoxide? Like you all may have read this, that carbon monoxide is also getting released. So how this carbon monoxide is getting released? When there is incomplete combustion of any substance, when there is absence or when there is a scarcity of oxygen and we are burning something, then carbon monoxide is generated. Like suppose this is a small room, we close it from all sides and we start burning some wood. There will be a scarcity of oxygen, and in that case, instead of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide will be generated. So if carbon monoxide is generated, then what will happen? So here we have to understand a key important thing. When it is coming into the alveoli and blood capillaries, there is presence of one thing called as hemoglobin. In the blood, in the RBC, we have the presence of hemoglobin. What is the role of hemoglobin? To attract and make bond with oxygen or sometimes carbon dioxide. So that is the role of hemoglobin. That is why RBC is carrying the oxygen. Now see here, if oxygen is coming, it is forming bond with hemoglobin. If carbon monoxide is coming here, it will also form a bond with this hemoglobin. Now what is the challenge? If we talk about carbon monoxide, it is not a stable gas. It is not a stable gas. It always wants to react and settle. It wants to have its stability, so it is highly active. Its reactivity is quite high. So this carbon monoxide, if it is coming into the body, it will form instant bond with this hemoglobin. It will make instant bond with hemoglobin. That is one part. Second thing, if it has formed a bond with hemoglobin, it will not leave it. It will become a very stable structure which is called as carboxyhemoglobin. It will form a bond here, CO plus HB, it is going to form carboxyhemoglobin. I am writing hemoglobin HB. So it is going to form a very strong bond called as carboxyhemoglobin. So that is the capacity of carbon monoxide. Now coming to the third part of it. A person is there in a room, some wood is burning, and the person is getting continuous supply of carbon monoxide. Within 6 to 7 minutes, what is going to happen? The person will have so much carbon monoxide inside him that he will have a scarcity of free hemoglobin. After 6 to 7 minutes, there is going to be a scarcity. There is going to be the scarcity of hemoglobin. And if hemoglobin is not there, if there is a scarcity of hemoglobin, will our cell get oxygen? If there is a scarcity of hemoglobin, it means hemoglobin means RBC. So if there is a scarcity of RBC, will our cells get the energy or will they get oxygen? If they are not getting oxygen, it means they will not be able to generate energy. Now think about this. Our entire process is based on this oxygen and energy. If the cells are not getting energy, after 6 to 7 minutes, that person will not be able to move his hand or even to speak something. Just after 6 to 7 minutes, the person will not be able to speak something or to go out of the room. And within 10 minutes, the person can die. So that is the impact of carbon monoxide. That if a person is having continuous exposure to carbon monoxide for 10 or 11 or 12 minutes, the person is going to die. And there is another part that normally if a person is feeling suffocation, they will try to go out. But in this case, the person will not be able to go out because he will not have the energy to call someone even for help. Doing all the tasks requires energy. Even to speak, there is requirement of energy. To move out also, there is a requirement of energy. And in case of carbon monoxide, the person will have no energy to even go out of the house or to call even someone for help. His mind will also not be supporting. So in that case, within 10 minutes, there can be the death of the person. So this is one of the reasons why it is written in class 6-7 NCRTs that you should not burn wood in your homes when the doors are closed from all the sides. Okay. In class 6-7 NCRT, you will find in some box it is written there that you should not burn something in your house when all the gates are closed, because when carbon dioxide is generated, there will be like death of the person. Carbon monoxide has caused death of person multiple times. Like during the time of winter, what people are doing? They are closing all the gates, closing all the doors so that no air can come from outside, no cold air can come from outside. Second thing, they are also burning some biomass or certain things inside their room to raise the temperature. So there is two laws. First, oxygen supply has been limited. Second part, inside the room there is generation of carbon monoxide. So it has caused death of families, not one person, 2%. It has many a times caused death of families because of this one simple issue. And think about this, that 5 to 6 people are there and they cannot even call out someone. That is the challenge with carbon monoxide. It is the silent killer. Why? Because people will not even notice the smell of this. It is having no such odor, no such color. So it is odorless, colorless. So there is no even a smell. People will simply inhale it. They will not even notice it. And by the time they notice, they will not be able to do anything. So that is the issue with carbon monoxide in case of respiratory system. So write a little bit about this. First, about the respiratory system. So it's better to get cold than having warm temperature inside your room. Heaters are not causing the problems. Heaters are not based on the concept of burning of biomass. Like the electric heaters which are there. So don't give advice at your home that don't have electric heaters. Okay. Electric heaters are based on the concept of simply heating. They are not burning of something. So burning is different, heating is different. Burning is like when you have put something on fire, so that is the burning part. Heating can be done by various things. Heating can be done by just electricity, or if you keep on striking something regularly, then also there can be heat. So heat can be generated by multiple things. Heat can be generated by movement also. Like when you are riding a bicycle also for some time, you will find that it also becomes heated. The wheels of it will become heated. So that is because of motion, friction. So write this first part. I am not going to tell about what is nose. Write this part. Trachea, just one single line. You can write about your nose yourself. Okay. After that, write about trachea. Sorry, pharynx. Pharynx. It is the common entry point. Pharynx. It is the common entry point of food and air. Common entry point of food and air. Second part, trachea. Also called as windpipe. Also called as windpipe. The air enters into trachea. The air enters into trachea from the pharynx. Then write about epiglottis. Epiglottis. It is a valve. It is a valve. It is a valve. It is a valve which prevents entry of food, which prevents entry of food in trachea. Then larynx. Then larynx. It is located in the upper part of trachea. Larynx में लिखेंगे. It is located in the upper part of trachea. The vibrations in larynx, the vibrations in larynx the vibration in larynx generate the sound. Then write about the alveoli. Write about alveoli. Alveoli. A-L-V-E-O-L-I. Alveoli. It is a balloon-like structure. It is a balloon-like structure which facilitates the exchange of gases, between lungs and blood. Respiration we have already written that what is respiration. Okay. Now the process you have already written, just write down somewhere in the notes about carbon monoxide. A few times there has been question about carbon monoxide. There is a possibility that it may be asked again. Okay. So write about this carbon monoxide. When carbon monoxide enters into human body, when carbon monoxide enters into human body, it makes a very stable bond with hemoglobin called as carboxyhemoglobin. Carboxyhemoglobin. Full stop. Next line. Since carbon monoxide is unstable, it has greater affinity to form a bond with hemoglobin Hb. Since carbon monoxide is an unstable gas, hence it has greater affinity or higher affinity to form a bond with hemoglobin. Next line. If a person is continuously exposed to carbon monoxide, for 6 to 7 minutes, then a significant portion of hemoglobin will get occupied with carbon monoxide. It will create a scarcity of free hemoglobin. As a result of this, the person will start feeling weak. Due to lack of oxygen, and slow metabolic rate. Within 10 to 12 minutes, it can cause death of the person. Within 10 to 12 minutes, it can cause death of the person. So from here you can understand one thing, like this carbon monoxide, it is highly lethal. It is highly lethal for the human beings. So this is one part about respiratory system, that what is present inside our respiratory system, what are the different organs which are there, the parts of it. The next important section which we have to see is the digestive system. You have seen the alveoli, it looks like this. Okay. Whenever someone wants you to make alveoli, you have to do just one thing, alveoli, that's it. Okay. So alveoli is a spherical structure. It is just like a sac like a structure, a balloon like a structure. So you can see these are the bronchial tubes. The bronchial tubes are giving rise to many of these structures. So it's not that our lungs is a empty space in which we are filling air and then it is getting released. It is not a big chamber in which we are simply filling the air and then it is coming out. You will find that there are multiple smaller multiple smaller alveoli which are inside it. So it is not that there is one big compartment in which air is going. There are multiple small structures like this, and they are all working together to give rise to the lungs. So lungs is not one big structure. Lungs is basically combination of all these smaller alveoli and the bronchial tubes. So in general, when we make the diagram of lungs, we simply make it like this one big thing. Okay. But inside it you will find these are the this is the trachea. It is breaking down into bronchi, one bronchus, one another bronchus. Okay. So here it is the right bronchus, left bronchus. It will break into bronchial tube, further fine structures, and finally the alveoli. Okay. Now all these alveoli, they are also connected with these blood capillaries. The blood capillaries are having supply of red blood cells. Red blood cells have hemoglobin. So this is how it works. This is how our respiratory system works. Now, this is not the respiration. Respiration occurs in the cell. The process of respiration occurs in the cell. This is one intermediate stage. From here, it is going into the blood. The blood will carry it to the cell, and the cell will perform the actual respiration task. Okay. So this is one respiration process. Now we have a similar thing called as digestion, a process which is called as digestion. So first we have seen blood, okay, that how the blood flows. Now blood is flowing mainly for two things. If you see it, blood is flowing mainly for two things. One is the oxygen, one is the food. They are supplying oxygen and food. And third part is the role of the blood itself, that is immunity. So blood is doing three things in total. One is providing immunity. We have seen the WBC which are there, the lymphatic cell and others. Plus another part is they are doing the transport of oxygen. That is the part of respiratory system. The third part of the blood is where they are helping in the digestion part. That how they are helping here, how they are taking this stage in how they are using this digestion part in the functioning of the body. So here we are going to talk about digestion. In our digestion, what organs are involved? Let us see them one by one. First of all, we are having our mouth. Okay. We are eating as much as we can. Okay. In eating that part, when we are eating something, there is a process of digestion. So where is the digestion taking place? The digestion starts from mouth and goes up to small intestine. So digestion process is starting from the mouth and ends or terminates at the part of small intestine, not in the large intestine. Large intestine is for some processes, but not for digestion. So we will see this entire process, that how it starts from the mouth and how it ends up in the part of small intestine. Now what actually is digestion? When we talk about digestion, like we have seen respiration, So in same manner, when we talk about digestion, it is the breakdown of food. It is simply the breakdown of food into simpler molecules. Into simpler molecules. So it doesn't matter what you are eating. Okay. Whether you are eating anything, okay, from vegetables to pulses to momos to sweets to jalebi, okay, anything. Okay. Ultimately, it comes about this carbohydrates. Ultimately, it comes about vitamins. Ultimately, protein, fat. Okay. So it doesn't matter what you are eating, whether it is tasty or not. At the end of the day, the body cares about only one thing, and that is how much carbohydrate it has got, how much fat it has got, how much proteins, how much vitamins, how much other minerals. It doesn't matter what taste is there, what texture is there. The only thing which matters here is the simpler molecules. So if you eat boiled food also, you can also survive. Okay. Or if you are eating something quite oily, then also you will be surviving for some time. Okay. Then after you will have to start eating boiled food. Okay. This is one simple thing. What does the body want? It wants carbohydrate, fat, proteins, and these things. Okay. Fibers also. So let us see how this process works. Okay. Now here also we will see it one by one. First we are talking about the mouth. Here we have the entry of the food. When we have the entry of the food, digestion starts from here. And how does this digestion start with? With the help of Colgate. Okay. So with the help of the teeth. Okay. What is the working of the teeth? So break down the food into simpler particles. Whatever you are eating, some people don't chew. They think that we have a stomach, why we will waste so much of energy? Okay. So why to chew the food? You can have it directly inside also. There is so much of hydrochloric acid, and to a very large extent, it doesn't even matter. Okay. If you are regularly eating that, then your digestion process will be slow. Many things will not be digested. Okay. But here, what we are doing in the teeth process or in the teeth part, first thing is there is chewing of the food. There is breakdown of the food into simpler molecules. Then this is one such physical part of digestion. Then from here itself, we have the another part which is saliva. In this saliva, we have the presence of one such enzyme. What is that? What is the name? In the saliva, what we have? Lactic acid. In a salivary gland is there. Salivary gland is releasing saliva. Saliva consists of amylase. Okay. So amylase is there. The salivary amylase is there, which is responsible for breakdown of the carbohydrates. Okay. So from here we have the working on the carbohydrates, or we are trying to like reduce it in form of glucose or fructose or maltose. Okay. Whatever can be done, it depends on what we are eating. So here we are having one such enzyme called as amylase. So amylase is breaking down the food into simple sugar molecules. Okay. You can simply write like simple sugar molecules or simple sugar. So that is one part. Why we have to chew the food or we have to keep it in mouth for some time, so that they can be properly mixed. They can be properly mixed with saliva. Okay. When they are properly mixed with saliva, then the digestion process will start. Otherwise, if there is no time for them, to be getting mixed with saliva. So then in that case, food will simply go down the food pipe and will reach into the stomach. So here there is saliva amylase which is breaking down the food, especially the sugar, into simple sugars or simple molecules. That is one part. Now here in the mouth, in the teeth, you know that there are 3-4 types of teeth. Okay. You can check it in the exam. If you are ever having a doubt, okay, if you are ever having a doubt that which teeth is for what use, in the exam itself you can have some biscuits, okay, or something. You can check it and every part that there are 4 different type of teeth. What I am trying to do from that teeth, one is for cutting, one is for tearing, and the remaining 2 types, molar and premolar, they are for chewing it. Okay. So canine or incisor, what is their role? You can see from there. So that is one easy part. Like sometimes you can do cheating in the exam also based on your own observation. Okay. This is mouth part. There is presence of tongue also. So what is the role of tongue? Mixing of the food, not speaking. Okay, not just a speaking thing that. So here we have the next part, that is food pipe. The food pipe is also called as esophagus. Now in the food pipe there is no work. There is only movement of the food by simply contraction and relaxation of the muscles. Okay. So this is a pipe only. There is no work here. There is only movement of the food to the stomach. So this is responsible, if we talk about this, it is responsible for movement of food to a stomach by contraction and relaxation of muscles. So that is one such role of food pipe. Now after food pipe, the third layer which starts, it is the main part, which is the stomach. Here we have the another major part, that is stomach. Now this is one such section in which digestion starts in the full-fledged manner. What do we have in our stomach? HCl, and apart from HCl, what do we have in our there are multiple things. If we look at our stomach, there is one thing called as HCl. There is another thing which is simply gastric juices. Third part is some of the digestive bacteria, okay, and some like presence of mucus is also there. So we will see it one by one. First of all, when the food is entering into the body, when the food comes inside the body, when it goes inside the stomach, then we see that there is a release of hydrochloric acid, release of HCl. Why do they release the HCl? There are 2 reasons here. There are 2 reasons here. One part is this, that the food which is coming, it may be containing some amount of bacteria. No matter like if you are eating food from anywhere, there will be presence of some bacteria or some microbes, some viruses may be there. So here there is use of HCl. So HCl will be used to like kill some of these microbes. So that is one part. Some of the bacteria will die in HCl. Some will survive, but some will die. Okay. So here we will see this is killing the microbes, killing microbes coming from outside. That is one role. Killing microbes coming from outside. That is one such role. Second part, the bacteria which are present inside our stomach, they like the acidic environment. The bacteria which are the native ones of our stomach, they can function effectively in the acidic medium. So it provides acidic medium for gut bacteria. There is one thing called as probiotics and one thing is called as prebiotics. So do you know what is the difference between probiotics and prebiotics? Like probiotics are those organisms, those bacteria which can help us in the digestion process. Okay. Like when you are eating curd, or when you are eating many such food items, they may contain some probiotics, some of those bacteria which can help us in the digestion process. So they are called as the probiotics. And there is one thing called as prebiotic. Okay. So prebiotic are basically those food items which are supporting the probiotics, like bananas. So bananas are a source of prebiotic. They are helping the probiotics to survive. Now, just to give an example, what is marketing? You may have seen that multiple such companies are selling curd by calling it as yogurt. Okay. And they write it probiotics. If they write it that you are eating bacteria, okay, if they write it on their cup, on their packet of curd, that it contains bacteria, so in that case some people might reconsider eating it. Okay. So they are giving it a name called as probiotics. So probiotics are basically bacteria only. The one bacteria which is good for our health, they are called as probiotics. And prebiotics are the food which are helping those bacteria to survive easily. So that is marketing. If you give it a different name, people will think it is something good. Okay. So that is one strategy of selling the curd. And they give it a new name. Curd is so outdated, so have a new name. Okay. Yogurt. Okay. So having different flavors of yogurt, that is more harmful. Okay. Like curd or yogurt, call it by any name, it doesn't have to come in a flavor of different type of fruits. Like you are having mango flavored curd. How do you get mango flavored curd? Like the cow was eating too much of mango. Okay. So mango flavored yogurt, then we have like different type of chocolate flavored yogurts also. Okay. And they are quite expensive. They are quite expensive also, those yogurts which are coming. So change in the name. Here it is killing the microbes which is coming from outside and also provides acidic medium for gut bacteria. Also provides acidic medium for gastric juices. Also provides this acidic medium for the gastric juices. So in this case, there is one such thing, there is one such enzyme which is responsible for digestion of protein. What is the name of that? In our stomach, you may have read this in class 9th, 10th. It has a name starting with P only. Pepsin is there. Pepsin is there, which is helping in digestion. Okay, which is helping in digestion of protein inside the stomach. Okay. So what we see that in gastric juices, pepsin, and pepsin is for protein. Remember, P is always for protein. All the other enzymes which we will also see, you will find pepsin to be there, or peptides or anything. If you find any such thing, it is related to protein. So here we are having this acidic medium for gastric juices, pepsin also. So gastric juices, pepsin. Okay. Then we have seen the bacteria, plus we have seen the HCl. Three things. Okay. One more thing, it has the presence of mucus. It is the alkaline secretion. Alkaline secretion for preventing for preventing stomach wall from acid. So there is also presence of this mucus, which is an alkaline secretion. There is so much of HCl, so HCl can cause damage to the stomach wall. So that for that purpose we are having this mucus. So it is preventing any such damage to the stomach wall. So it has created HCl. Think about this. You cannot even touch HCl, but you always have HCl inside you. Okay. You cannot even touch it, but HCl is inside you. So there are toxic substances inside our body. Okay. So this is one part where we have the stomach. Do we have digestion of carbohydrates in the stomach? Here we have seen there is a gastric juice Pepsi, which is helping in the digestion of protein. But do we have digestion of carbohydrates inside the stomach or not? How? Which juice will be responsible for it? But amylase was there in the mouth. Amylase was there in the mouth. So when it is coming to the stomach, just see here, what is the role of the gut bacteria? Why do we have bacteria inside our body? We have it for the digestion process. So gut bacteria is digesting each and everything inside our stomach. So all types of digestion are taking place. From our side, there is digestion of protein, but with the help of gut bacteria, we have digestion of other items also inside our stomach. So this is the third part, what is happening in the case of stomach. Then after stomach, which part is there? Then we have the next part, which is the small intestine. But it is not small. It is very long. Okay. Small intestine is quite a longer one. When we talk about a small intestine, what is the role of this? Like, what will the small intestine do? The food is coming here from the stomach, the food is entering here. Now, in the case of a small intestine, there is the completion of this digestion process, each and everything will come here. But before we go into a small intestine, see one thing, the food which is there in the stomach, it is acidic now. The food which is there in the stomach, it is acidic now because it has been mixed with HCl. The pH can be like 2, 2.5 or even lower than that. So it is highly acidic food. But in our small intestine, if the highly acidic food is coming there, if a highly acidic food is coming there in case of our intestine, it is going to create a problem. The walls of small intestine will not be able to adjust it. So before it comes into a small intestine, there is one thing, what we see that there is presence of one organ which is called as liver. Okay. And liver is secreting a juice, a particular enzyme which is called as bile juice. This bile juice is alkaline in nature. This bile juice is alkaline in nature. So it is getting mixed. This bile juice is getting mixed with that of the food coming from the stomach. So that is first work of this. So makes food alkaline, plus this bile juice helps in digestion of fat. This helps in digestion of fat. Now, there is one name which you will often get in case of liver. There is one thing called as gallbladder. So gallbladder is what? It is not like a separate thing. It is just like a storage bag of the bile. Liver is like creating the bile juice and storing it in a sac, in a bag, which is called as gallbladder. So here we see that it is having like a storage of bile, and that is taking place in gallbladder. So this is one part. But see, there is one more thing here. Along with liver, there is also one more thing which is coming with the same duct. Initially there is two duct. Duct means pipe. Duct is simply pipe or tube. So there are two ducts initially. One is the pancreatic duct and one is the bile duct. But later on they mix together. They form one single duct which opens up into the small intestine. So then there is one thing, pancreas. There is another thing called as pancreas. So pancreas are also releasing three juices. They are also releasing three things. One is called as trypsin, amylase, and lipase. Lipase is for lipids, fat, amylase is for sugar, and trypsin is for protein. So there are three things, tal, which are getting released by pancreas. Okay. So pancreas and liver supply different things. One is bile, and then three things, trypsin, amylase, and lipase. Lipase is for lipid, it includes fats and protein both, okay, but mainly fat. Then we have trypsin for protein, amylase is for the sugar. So these three things are coming from pancreas, and then they are coming along with the bile juice from liver. So they all have come into the small intestine. This small intestine, it is having three parts. This is having three parts. And ileum. These are the name of the sections of small intestine. There are three parts of it, duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. There are three different parts of the small intestine. This is the longest one, this is the second one, this is the smallest one. Yeah. So it is in the increasing order of their length also. It is in their series also and length also. This part, duodenum, is the smallest one and the first part of duodenum. Second part is jejunum, which is considerably longer. Okay. And the longest one is the ileum. It goes like 3 meter here, 2.5 meter here, 0.25 meter here. So approximately 6 meter, that is the length of small intestine. You don't have to remember that meter, but just to give an idea that it is approximately 3 meter. This is 2.5 meter and this is 0.25 meter. So there are three parts. Digestion will take place in all these sections. There is going to be digestion in all these three sections. But one more thing here. This is the final stage of digestion. So along with the digestion process which is taking place with respect to pancreatic juice, liver, and even intestine has its own juices. Intestine is also releasing various types of like pepsin also, it is also releasing the amylase also. So in this small intestine, they are also releasing the intestinal juices. They are also releasing the juices. So this is the one part where there is going on of digestion. Plus, at the same time, there is one thing which is going on, absorption. In the small intestine, the absorption of the food also starts. And like we have the alveoli in the respiration system, in the same manner, in the small intestine, we have a very fine structure which is called as villi. In this small intestine, we have a small portion called as villi. Let me show you the image of villi. See this portion. You will find a finger-like outgrowth on the walls of this small intestine. So these finger-like outgrowths, like if you see the real small picture, so it is like the tube. Inside it, you will find very fine particles. If you magnify it, it will look like this, that there is finger-like outgrowth on the wall of a small intestine. And if you see one single villi, just see inside that villi, there is presence of the blood capillaries. Okay. So in one single villi also, there is presence of blood capillaries. Means blood capillaries are everywhere. Blood capillaries are everywhere, from the skin to the core. You will find, even to the bone marrow part, you will find capillaries there. So here we have the villis, and inside the villis we are having the capillaries. Now why we are having the villis? Like why we are having them? Why? Why not plain structure? It is about the surface area. Just see one thing. Like suppose that if you are having one glass of water, if you are having one glass of water and you keep it here on this table, tomorrow if you will come here, you will find that almost same amount of water is there until unless someone drinks it. Okay. So if no one is drinking it, you will find the same amount of water to be here. But simply don't do it, just I am telling it. Okay. If you throw the water on the floor, okay, if you throw the same glass of water on the floor, then in that case, if you come next day, you will find that the entire water is gone. Why? Surface area has been increased, there is going to be higher evaporation. It is going to, like, surface area is going to increase the evaporation, or if it is a damp surface, it is going to absorb it also. Like suppose this is one damp surface. If I keep water here at one part, it will not easily, like, it will not be easily absorbed. But if I throw the same glass of water on this entire, like, entire damp cloth, then it is going to be absorbed in next 2-3 hours. The more the surface area, more will be absorption. If you increase the surface area, there will be more and more absorption. So what we are doing, like suppose this was one structure, a plane structure. So then surface area is only this part. Surface area is only this part. But if we make this a structure in such a manner, so now we are increasing the surface area. Now there is going to be more absorption. There is going to be more absorption. There is going to be absorption here also on this entire part, then here also. So we are increasing the surface area. So villi is just doing this one part to increase the surface area for absorption of food. The first part was ingestion, where we ingested the food, where we have eaten the food. Second part was digestion, where the food was broken down into simpler carbohydrates, simple glucose, proteins, or simple amino acids or fats. Then what we see that the third part was absorption. The third part which was here is absorption, where the villi is absorbing the digested food. Now, when they are digesting it, where will this absorbed food go? Where it is going to go after this absorption? What is inside it? Blood capillaries. You have the presence of blood capillaries inside it. So it means the food which has been absorbed here is going to go into the blood. And the blood will do what? Blood will assimilate it. Assimilate means to mix it into the blood. So after the absorption, the next part will be assimilation, where the food is going to be assimilated or mixed into the blood. And then this food is going to reach all the cells of the body. So this is one part where we have the role of a small intestine, that at this part there will be two things, digestion and absorption. In the blood there will be assimilation. Okay. So blood is also coming as part of this digestive system. There is role of blood here also. There is a role of this circulatory system in this part also, respiration also. So they are interlinked system. Now this is the digestion process which completes here, like the digestion completes. But there is one segment of digestion which is excretion, where the food, the waste material is going to be excreted by the body. So we will see that in tomorrow's session, that what happens in the large intestine. And then we will see this next part, that is nervous system, lymphatic system. Okay. But before you go, just wait. Okay. Now can you, if there is any question from this part, digestion and respiration, okay, I think most of the things are clear apart from why milk is white. Gallbladder is storing the bile. Gut bacteria like E. coli. Gut bacteria is E. coli. In a small intestine there is going to be absorption. Even intestinal juices are digestive. They help in digestive. Emulsification is the process in which the fats are being digested by the bile juice. You have acid. So there is opposite of acid, that is basic. So basic is called as alkaline. The basic, like you have acid, opposite of is base. In small intestine, we need the alkaline medium, otherwise the walls of small intestine will get corroded. We will write about this ileum and duodenum and jejunum. Ileum is the last portion which especially helps in absorption of vitamins and all. Can a person live on ventilator without heart? Yes, you can try. Do a small intestine don't have mucus? No, small intestines does not secrete the mucus. Why small intestine is called small intestine if it is large? Small intestine is long, not large. There is a difference between long and large. When we talk about long, it is about the length. When we talk about large, it is about the area. So in case of large intestine, it is called as large because it has larger area. And when we talk about small intestine, it has a smaller area. Its length is longer. Last digestion stage is here only in a small intestine. If there is no gallbladder, then digestion process will be impacted because then bile secretion will be quite limited. So if gallbladder is removed, then in some cases it can create problem. It all depends on how much bile is getting secreted by the liver. Yes, because of area. Appendix we will see later. Lymphatic system, we will see it as part of lymphatic system. देखो pacemaker is just like replicating the working of the heart. It is just mimicking that process of heart beating. Duodenum, jejunum and ileum, they are working as part of digestion plus absorption also. That's why I have written digestion plus absorption. Villi size, you cannot even like see it. It is in mm. Why vomiting take place? When you eat something which body considers harmful for the body, okay, like there is one simple process. If you are eating something and body thinks that it is not good for the body, then it throws it out. So that is why vomiting is taking place. What about poison? In case of poison also, like if it is being eaten by someone, if body recognizes it as a threat, then they will throw it out. But before it throws it out, it goes into the body and reaches to different portion. Okay. So let's meet in the next session then, and then we will discuss the remaining things. Okay.